let's have a chat about the Nissan Versa. March 2025, there was this teaser, but it was not a teaser for the Versa in the United States. This teaser was for the Versa where it's sold elsewhere. I think the writing was on the wall when this vehicle was not included in the United States teaser set, where we saw the next gen Rogue, we saw the plug-in hybrid Rogue, we saw the Leaf in there, maybe an Xterra sort of vehicle. But now I have some exciting news for the Versa. This is a photo shoot and spy shot. Well, these aren't spy shots. These are official leaked images from a photo shoot in Mexico, all right, where the Versa is made. And we have a redesign for the Versa here. It looks like a Prius had a baby with a Murano. And I think that's okay. It looks better like this than absolutely it did previously. So this is the new Versa. Now, these images were leaked like yesterday, maybe a day before. And then literally within the same day, we got confirmation that Nissan is discontinuing the most affordable car in the United States, which is the Versa. The Versa has that title as the most affordable car because Nissan's partner Mitsubishi killed the Mirage, which was made in Thailand. I reviewed this vehicle a couple years ago. I'm like, hey, it just works. It's really fuel efficient. It's just basic, super basic transportation. And that's what the Versa is. The Versa has it did outlive all of its competition, from the Hyundai Accent to the Fiesta from Ford. You had the Toyota Yaris. You had the Honda Fit. Okay. The Mazda 2, like I could keep going. The Chevy Spark, all those small cars. Other markets would call them what? B segment cars. Okay, B segment cars have all but dried up in the United States. All right, and it's just unfortunate that this one, right when it's getting a redesign, is dipping out of the United States. Tariffs have a role to play, as well as, so we have the tariffs playing a role, but I think a bigger role, or just as big of a role, is Nissan closing its CVAC plant in Cuernavaca. Now, I asked Ivan Espinosa, CEO of Nissan, about this. He says this one was hard. This was to make this decision. Remember, Ivan Espinosa, he's from Mexico. All right. The last thing he wants to do is close plants in Mexico, but he's got to do what he believes is best for the future of Nissan. He made the executive decision to close CVAC, which was the first plant, if I remember correctly, the first plant for Nissan. Here it is, established in 1966. First plant for Nissan outside of Japan. All right. And so it has built like the Frontier in the past, not our Frontier. Our Frontier is made in Canton, Mississippi. But the Versa is moving because CVAC is closing. The Versa is moving to the Aguas Calientes complex. Well, guess what's made there? The Sentra is made there. And so they probably don't have the production volume, nor can stomach maybe the tariffs for such a low-priced car for them to continue making the Versa for the United States market. Sentra is now our entry-level vehicle. But if we look at Sentra, all right, let's go back to Versa. Versa starts at $17,390. You look at the Sentra here, it starts at about $5,000 more. $5,000 more, but I'm telling you, reality says that it's not a $5,000 more car. All right, it has that's like 20 more horsepower, a lot more torque. That's one of the bigger advantages here. But yeah, the new Sentra, if you missed my quick driving impressions, it's a beautiful car. It handles well. It brakes well. The interior is pretty nice. The touch panel, though, is a big misstep, but it still is a CVT, and it is a bit rubber bandy, but it's a beautiful car. So back to the pricing here. As we go to the Versa in my area, like a $6,000 discount to $14,000. Wow. Okay. Now, of course, that's the base grade. SR is the top grade. And there's an SR for, let's see here, 18K is what it looks like, but you can get a base S grade for 14K. Yeah, there's still quite a few out there. 4 and 21 just within my area, 150 miles. We look at the Sentra now the entry level option, but look how cheap you can get a Sentra. Again, 14K to 16K. Is it a $2,000 upgrade? Is it worth it? Absolutely. Even the looks of the old Sentra are way better than the Versa, and maybe even with the refresh on the Versa. All right, so Sentra is now your entry-level option. Now, these are all old models of the Sentra, which is actually, the new Sentra is really nice. Like, they've increased the rigidity on it. The only thing the Sentra is really missing, honestly, is a better powertrain. E-Power Hybrid is what it's missing. Okay, now it should be getting that, fingers crossed, as well as the Nissan Kicks should be getting that in the next 2-3 years. So we're still a ways out. But you know what this Sentra does really well, and the Versa did well too, is that it's all physical climate control here, rotary dials, where the new Sentra, at least the one I tested in the SR, replaces it with a touch panel. But I'm curious, what does the interior of a base Sentra look like? Physical climate control. You see this? You see this right here? Let me. So this is a frustrating thing in cars, and it was just the same thing with the Range Rover I drove the other day. Look, physical climate control. I don't need it. You spend more and you get a worse experience. That's the Sentra SR, because they replace the steering wheel is amazing, by the way. And yes, the leather steering wheel on the SR is amazing, but I wonder, let me look at an SV. We go from steel wheels to some cool alloy wheels. By the way, I have the Nissan Leaf to review this week. It goes to the touch panel. So the touch panel is a forced upgrade on everything other than the base S grade. So to me, it's like, I'll just take the base S grade at this point. You know, I can put nicer wheels on it. I can put a leather steering wheel cover on it if I need to. The Versa, it's going to be, look at the simplicity here. It just works, and we're going to miss it. It's not a tearjerker moment. The tearjerker moment right now is, we look at sales. So this is another reason they kill it. So let's go to the sales of the Versa here. It was introduced in the mid 2000s. All right, and by 2012 and then through 2017, it was selling at a clip in the United States over 100,000 per year. That is a very successful subcompact sedan. Very successful. And then in 2018, it just fell off a cliff. Now, was it because around that time they introduced the Kicks? Let me look when they introduced the Kicks. 2018. What do you know? Coincidence? I think not. It's just been in free fall. And look, in 2022, like it almost was completely done away with, like the dodo bird. 2024 had a resurgence, and I think it's because people need a little bit more affordable vehicles. But it doesn't matter. It's dead now. And this car that we have, this new Versa in Mexico, is not technically coming to the United States. It'll be in Mexico. It'll be in South America, Central America, and that's great. Okay, I'm glad the Versa lives on, even if it's not in the United States. It's just not the right car for our market right now. You might be saying, Kirk, we need more affordable cars. I agree. Just go buy a Sentra. It's better and it doesn't cost that much more. So the Versa also has some relatives around the world. The Tita, okay, this vehicle right here, this looks more like a Note, but it's a relative, something that maybe you guys around the world, if you're watching this, are more familiar with. Okay, Russia, China, Africa, sold in Europe as the Pulsar, which I have right here. Okay, this vehicle's been around for ages. Oh my gosh, bring this back. What is this? GTI R Nismo Pulsar? Oh Lord. All right. I know it's not directly related to the Versa we're talking about, but this is one of the coolest cars that I didn't even know existed. That is spectacular. Oh my goodness. This is Japanese perfection in the 90s, right? I'm assuming it's 90s. Yeah, 1990 is when that generation came out. That is redonkulous. GTI R Pulsar. Like, are you kidding me? This is absolute. And look, when Nissan's getting back to this. I think it's under the direction of their new CEO. He's a car guy through and through. You see this? It's a unique badge for the car. The Z is getting back to that. The Z is ditching the Nissan badge on the front of the car for the Z badge, which it should. This is just stupid Japanese JDM perfection here. Oh my gosh, that is unreal. I don't even know what kind of powertrain. I don't care. What does it have? Zero to 100 kilometers per hour in 5.4 seconds. So low five, 0 to 60. It's all-wheel drive. So this thing would launch quite hard. 227 horse. Anyways, off topic, but maybe that's a relative of the Versa. Gosh, I wish we got the Pulsar GTIR. How about that? And then the Nissan Sentra guys, just go buy a leftover Sentra if you need a cheap car. They're out there in plenty. The 26s haven't arrived yet. And stay tuned for my my Nissan Leaf coverage. It just so happens that two cars that I need to drive a lot to get fuel economy or energy efficiency are here at the same time, and it's during Christmas, which gives me less time to be with those cars. I have a RAV4 Woodland that I'm going to be testing today, so stay tuned for that fuel economy test, but I'll do other tests with that RAV4 as well. So stay tuned for all that good stuff coming down the channel, Leaf, as well as RAV4 coverage. And I'll see in the comments. This is not really a sad moment. This is a sad moment for the industry. Everything's kind of shifted to small crossovers. Look, I was able to fit an ungodly amount in the RAV4 yesterday when I went to Sam's Club. So it's just that utility and the seat height that comes with a subcompact crossover or any crossover versus a sedan. It's a no-brainer why utility has won out here in the US versus smaller sedans with less usable space. But anyways, thank you guys. Stay tuned for more. Long live the Nissan Versa, at least in Mexico and other countries. Peace out. Oh, and Merry Christmas. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve. If you're watching it, if you made it this far, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy holidays. Peace.